Chairwoman Lofgren, Mr. Walker, and to my other very, very distinguished colleagues. Thanks for having me here today. And as the lead Republican on H.R. 2420 and of the National Museum of the American Latino Act, and as a representative of a majority-Latino district, I'm proud to discuss the need for a Smithsonian Museum of the American Latino right here in our nation's capital. The National Mall in Washington, D.C. is our country's front yard. It has museums for miles telling our nation's stories of natural history, of air and space, of art, of buildings, of the American Indian, and most recently of African American history and culture. But there is one set of stories that's missing, the stories of the largest ethnic minority in the United States. The U.S. is home to almost 59 million Latinos and Latinas, and estimates, as Congressman Serrano said, by 2060, 1 out of every 4 people in the United States will be of Latino heritage. This bill would make the first strides towards establishing a permanent museum for the American Latino by instituting a board of trustees that would be responsible for finding a location, developing a long-term plan for construction, and advising the Smithsonian Board of Regents. Not only does this bill establish a leadership structure to make the idea of the museum a reality, but it authorizes a public-private partnership that will establish the 50-50 matching program to fund this project. Next year, the Smithsonian is opening within the Museum of American History a Latino Center, the first gallery space to celebrate the experience of American Latinos and Latinas. The space will showcase the contributions of the American Latino, like how they have served in our nation's uniform in every war since Revolution. But this space will pale in comparison to the existing museums, many of which have exhibition space well over 100,000 square feet. In just over 4 months, the National Museum of African American History and Culture hit the 1 million visitor mark, and since its opening, the museum has welcomed more than 6 million tourists. This is an indication of how successful a Museum of the American Latino can be. Our nation's investment in displaying these stories that Americans and millions of tourists from around the world will want to hear will be more than worth it. Our bill, as my partner in crime on this has said, has more than 260 bipartisan co-sponsors in the House, and my colleagues, Senator Cornyn, Menendez, Rubio, McSally, and Capito, are leading this bipartisan effort in the Senate. This isn't a Republican or Democratic issue. This is an American issue. This transcends each of us here today and will allow future generations of Americans from sea to shining sea to learn from our past, appreciate the progress made today, and work together to create a stronger future. Growing up in San Antonio, I was exposed to the rich Latino culture that is prominent in all aspects of American culture, from the music we listen to, the clothes we wear, and the food we eat, to the gifted minds of our doctors, educators, and business people. We see these accomplishments woven into our everyday lives and the very fabric of our nation. And I appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity to do this. And I will end with an experience I had about 2 weeks ago. I'm with a friend at the Native American Museum. And as we're going through the displays, my friend, who was 30-ish, had never heard of the Trail of Tears. But because we were at a museum and were able to expose and be exposed to something that is so important to our culture, to our history, we had the opportunity to have that moment, and we need that opportunity when it comes to the impact that Latino culture has had and is having in the United States. So I'm glad to be a co-sponsor of this, and I would like to also get this done before my friend and fellow member, Mr. Serrano, leaves as well. So thanks for the time.
Thank you very much.